सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयम् नमामि भगवत्पादम् शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यम् केशवं बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। अष्टावक्र संहिता चैप्टर 6 श्लोक 1। जनक उवाच आकाशवदनन्तोऽहम् घटवत्प्राकृतं जगत् इति ज्ञानं तथैतस्य न त्यागो न ग्रहो लयः। In the previous chapter, Ashtavakra, the Guru, explained Laya. Laya that is desirable in the process of Vedanta. Now, Janaka is explaining his understanding of Laya. If you look into the pattern of Ashtavakra Samhita, there is Guru as well as Shishya. There is teaching from the Guru, Ashtavakra. It is in a few verses. It is followed by the understanding of the student. Janaka is the student. Previous chapter was in the form of teaching, Upadesha. This chapter is in the form of Shishya's understanding, Anubhava. Anubhava means the understanding. After receiving Upadesha, the teaching about Laya, now it is Janaka's turn to explain his understanding. Sometimes even the Shishya has to explain to the Guru how he understands, so that if there is any fallacy in Shishya's understanding, it can be corrected by the Guru. Now Janaka describes Laya. What is Laya? As we have seen, there are three forms of Laya. Number one, a physical resolution, which is in the form of destruction. If there is a pot, you destroy the pot, break it into pieces. It is physical resolution. The pot is resolved into dust, dust particles. It is a physical resolution. Then there is a experiential resolution. Resolution in experience. When we go to sleep, the world is resolved in our experience. The world disappears. These two forms of resolution are not talked about in Vedanta. We talk about a totally different form of resolution. It is a cognitive resolution. Janaka is talking about the cognitive resolution. Jnanam layaha. Laya is a jnana, cognitive, a proper understanding. When you see the rope snake, there is snake in your perception. This perceived snake creates problem. It creates fear, and the fear causes so many physical symptoms as well. There is palpitation, hearts, heart starts saying daba daba, body starts shaking, horripilation. All these are the physical indications of fear. What is causing this? The rope snake. The snake which is perceived in the rope. Now, the solution is to remove the rope snake. Resolution of the rope snake. How to resolve it? Physical resolution is not going to happen. It is not possible. You can start beating the rope snake. The rope snake doesn't run away. It doesn't even die. It is a waste of energy to keep beating the rope snake. Therefore, physical resolution is not the solution. Then there is an experiential resolution. You just close your eyes and say there is no rope. It is not going to work. Even if you close your eyes, the idea of a rope in front of you has not gone. A snake in front of you, it has not gone. Therefore, experiential resolution is also not the way out. You can close your eyes for a while. When you open your eyes again, the snake is again there. Then what is the solution? It is a cognitive resolution. You switch on the light, then you understand it is not a snake at all. What is there in front of you is just a rope. This understanding resolves the snake. Sarpasya layaha. Rajjojnanam sarpasya layaha. The knowledge of the rope leads to resolution of the sarpa. Therefore, there is no other resolution of the snake than knowledge of the rope. Therefore, Janaka says, Iti jnanam layaha. This understanding is laya. That means laya in this context is not a physical one, and it is not even an experiential one. You don't have to change anything physically. Let the world remain as it is physically. And it is not even experiential. You do not have to experience anything new. You can continue experiencing the world as it is. Therefore, the only difference that is required is in our understanding. Iti jnanam layaha, na tyagaha layaha. Laya is not tyaga, giving up. You give up the world physically. A physical giving up of the world, which is a physical resolution. It is not possible. Na grahaha, or taking up something new, a new experience, a new state of mind. You enter into a new state of mind where you don't see the world, an experiential resolution. Even that is not intended. Therefore, na tyagaha, na grahaha. Tyaga implies a physical resolution, and graha implies an experiential resolution. They are not the laya intended here. This is the second line of this shloka. Iti jnanam tathaitasya na tyago na graho layaha. The same line is repeated in all four shlokas of this chapter. Janaka repeatedly says, Laya is a jnanam. Laya is not physical and not even experiential. Now, in the first lines of each shloka, all the four shlokas, this chapter has four shlokas. Janaka describes the jnana. What jnana? What is the true jnana? Proper understanding. Confining ourselves to this individuality is ignorance. Identification with this body gives us a limited identity with a given form and a given name. We are confined to a given name and a given form. That is what our identity card carries. Your picture, your photo with a name, Mr. So and so, Miss so and so, Mrs. so and so, name and form. And we travel everywhere with this identity. Aadhaar card, passport. Now, as long as we hold on to this identity, we cannot be free from a sense of limitation. As long as there is a sense of limitation, therefore, Vedanta talks about resolution of our individuality. To be free from a sense of limitation, one has to be free from the individual identity. Therefore, resolution of the individuality. To understand resolution of individuality, we should understand how the individuality comes about. To explain the mechanism of individual identity, Vedanta talks about something called Upadhi. Upadhi is an external factor which limits our true nature. An example for Upadhi is a pot. The pot is external to space. Space and pot. Pot is not intrinsic to space. It is external to space. That is why, whether there is a pot or not, there is no change in space. The pot does not cause any change in space. Yet, when there is a pot, the space seems to be confined. Therefore, the space confined by the pot is called pot space, a limited space. In truth, the space is not confined. Space is always vast. Yet, because of the pot, the space seems to be confined, limited. It becomes pot space. Now, pot is the upadhi. An external factor, an external agent which seemingly confines the space. Similarly, even we have upadhis. Our body is an upadhi. The body is not our intrinsic nature. Body is external to our nature. Yet, the body seems to limit our nature, seems to confine us. Because of the body, we seem to have limitation. Essentially being limitless, we seem to have limitation. Therefore, body is responsible for our limited identity. Identification with the body is responsible for our limited identity. Therefore, the solution is to understand our true identity, our true nature, which transcends the Upadhi, which is not affected by the Upadhi. It is Ananta, limitless, free from all limitations. Anta means limitation. There are three forms of limitations. Deshataha antaha. Limitation in terms of space. A given object is there in one space, one part of space. It is not there in another part of space. That means it is limited in terms of space. Deshataha antaha. Anta is also called paricheda. Desha paricheda. Then there is kala paricheda. Limitation in terms of time. It is there only between 2 points of time. Neither before that nor after that. Kala paricheda. And there is vastu paricheda. A given object is confined being a given object. The table is confined being a table. The table is not the computer. The table is not the pot. It is just a table. It is confined being a table. It is vastu paricheda. These three parichedas, these three limitations cause problem. Ananta means free from all these three forms of limitations. Free from desha paricheda, free from limitation in space, means all pervasive. Space doesn't limit. Free from kala paricheda, means eternal, nitya, nor it has a destruction in time, nor it has a change. That kind of a thing is called eternal, nitya. It does not change with the time. Then Vastu Paricheda, free from Vastu Paricheda. It means it has to be everything. It has to be Sarva. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. Everything is Brahman. Therefore, Brahman does not have Vastu Paricheda. Brahman doesn't have Desha Paricheda because even space is in Brahman. Brahman is not in space. Space is in Brahman. Brahman is the support of space. Brahman is free from Kala Paricheda because even time is in Brahman. Space and time are projections on the substratum, Brahman. Therefore, space and time cannot limit Brahman. Brahman being the substratum of all the limiting factors. No limiting factor can confine Brahman. Therefore, Ananta, limitless, infinite. You are Anantaha. Aham Anantaha. Janaka says. It is an Anubhava Vakya, a statement of one's vision. Aham Anantaha. I am Ananta. What is the example for Ananta? The best possible example is Akasha. Akashavat, like Akasha. It is not a very good example. You cannot give any example when it comes to Brahman. Certain things don't have example. Sagara Sagaropamaha. You cannot say ocean. How does ocean look like? Ocean is ocean. Ocean is like ocean. Sagara Sagaropamaha. Sagara does not have an upama, a comparison. Rama Ravanayor Yuddham, Rama Ravanayoriva. The fight between Rama and Ravana. It is like the fight between Rama and Ravana. No comparison. Similarly, Brahman cannot be compared to anything. Even space is not a good comparison because space has only one form of anantatva. Space does not have desha paricheda. It has other parichedas. Kala paricheda. Even space has kala paricheda. Even space has origin. तस्माद्वा एतस्मादात्मन आकाशः सम्भूतः. Space has an origin and space will have a destruction also. Modern cosmologists will perhaps agree with this. Even space has modifications. Though we generally don't see the modifications of space. And space has vastu paricheda. Space is not table. Space is a vastu and table is another vastu. Therefore, Akasha is not a very great example. Yet, the best possible example is Akasha. Therefore, Akashavat Anantoham. I am limitless, like the space. Then what about this body? This Upadhi, Ghatavat. This body is like a pot. An Upadhi. Which seems to limit me. Just like the pot seems to limit the Akasha. But essentially, this body does not even touch me. Ghatavat, this body. Similarly, the whole universe, Prakritam Jagat, Prakrita means Prakritehe Vikaraha, modification of Prakriti. Prakriti means Maya, the three gunas. Trigunatmika Prakriti. The whole universe is a projection of Prakriti. Prakritam Jagat, the whole universe, which is the effect of Prakriti, is like Ghata, like the pot. It seems to confine me, seems to limit me, yet essentially, in reality, it does not limit me. It does not affect me. Therefore, I am Anantaha. This understanding is laya, resolution of the individuality. When I understand this, my individuality is resolved. My limited identity is resolved into my limitlessness. I transform myself into the limitless with this understanding. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.